Hi, hi guys, this is Avdesh Kumar Verma and today I'm going to show you very important things for a ASP.NET developer. What ASP.NET developer should have the skills, this is a very good line you can see here. People are not interested in who are you, they are interested how you make them feel. This is a very important line for any developer. So you can see here what programming language they should have, like C#.NET is very kind of booming language, you can say is very very good language to learn, and in a Microsoft Word this is the primary language you should know. Oops concept you should know, link language integrated query you should know, lambda expression, and after lambda expression you should know design pattern, collection and structures, all the collection, generic non-generic you should know, the .NET framework you should know. The front end you can have jQuery, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, HTML, Rajas syntax, Ajax toolkit you should know how to design a front end. If you working as MVC, then your front end back end both should be very strong. In database side, you should know SQL Server programming. What does that mean? SQL is a language. Microsoft compile that language as a transactive SQL, TSQL, and Oracle as a PLSQL. So you should know the transactive SQL. If I why I call it a programming, SQL Server programming, because you going to program, you going to write a script. You can use you will use control statement, while control statement, while statement, and there is many kind of you can use like procedural programming, all the concept. ADO.NET you should know how to access ADO.NET. So many classes there, you should know how to connect to the database and get the data. After that you should know the entity framework. This is the ORM framework. You should be, this is very important for any any Microsoft developer, any ASP.NET developer, because you're not going to always write a query to connect to write a query to get the data, update the data. Use entity framework, it will save your time, and project will be kind of very performance will be very good using entity framework. Your code going to be reduced. In backend you should know ASP.NET, MVC, Web API, ASMX, that is web service, and WCF services also you should know. In testing also, kind of unit testing you should know. This is very important. If you don't know anything, unit testing is very important. Signal are that is real-time messaging, and if you want to develop a application real-time where you can connect to you want to send a message to, you want to perform CRUD operation on a client side, it uses the WebSocket and many other technologies in a Signal. So it's very important, you should know and have the practical experience, because let me give you one example where you want to develop a chatbot, AI based chatbot, artificial intelligent chatbot you want to develop. So you can use Signal. It's very kind of reliable technology. AngularJS, to develop a MBPM application, you can use AngularJS. Load balancing things, okay, this is very important if you are very experienced in ASP.NET developer, because sometimes you have to deal with your load balancing, because if application traffic is very high, then it's going to be a cluster environment 100% sure. So on that time you should know how your application make your application a compliance for load balancing things. You can't so your in this is the component you can see here, like a web server you need, IS server you need, AR server, NLB cluster you have to develop. DFS is a in DFS so many things is there, like duplication service, that is that will sync your files and folders to other servers in a cluster environment. So you require in their namespace and application services. So URL rewriting also it is very important in IS, because you want to redirect the traffic. How so you can define the rules to redirect the traffic, to distribute the traffic amongst the server. Some people call as a reverse proxy also. PowerShell scripting not very important for ASP.NET developer, but it's very important when you are in kind of in an environment where automation team and development team working both. PowerShell scripting in ASP.NET, how will you use? They have namespace called Microsoft management.automation. In their PowerShell script, you need to execute. There are so many kind of tasks you can schedule through PowerShell script. IS server, you should know is how to configure a site, how to create a custom application pool, identity management. It is very important. Version control, Azure DevOps services. Before that it was Visual Studio Team Services. Now it's they renamed as Azure DevOps services. Now TFS, Team Foundation Server, they rename as a DevOps server now. So this you should know. In there DevOps, you will have many kind of STLC, like you want to agile, you want to use Scrum or CMMI, which model, which flow you want to use, you can choose it in that DevOps in TFS. Here you can see Atlassian, Bitbucket and Jira is the same things, like how your DevOps will work. Your Azure DevOps, the same things is Jira also using, Atlassian also building same things. So Bitbucket is a like your version control, your repository will be reside there. Jira will be equal to your where your meetings board, and where you will implement your Scrum and Agile. So your sprint meeting and your backlogs, your items will be there. So your reporting task will be there. So basically the requirement gathering, and you want to submit a kind of requirement in Jira or in a DevOps. This same concept they have implemented. So if you know the one thing, if you using Microsoft Azure DevOps server or DevOps services will be enough. If you are using some other third party, like other party like Atlassian products, so Bitbucket and Jira will come in picture. They also have Confluence also, but it's not I'm limiting this two companies. So security, you should know the SSO, how to implement SSO and identity framework, cryptography, how to configure the HTTPS. And in security and authentication, there is many kind of authentication, and sometime you need to configure, like how we will deal session based login, form authentication, how will do Windows authentication, how will do custom authentication. So that also will come in the security and identity management. Integration, you should know the payment integration. Payment integration will involve like in provider, gateway provider like CCAvenue, PayMoney and Paytm. There are many providers are there. So you not you should don't have to worry about the other. If you know one, you will able to know all, because same process, only the gateway will be different and their mechanism, their cryptography will be different, their parameters also will be differ. Email integration is very easy. SMTP, you can use system.web classes, base system.web.net classes. SMTP class is namespace, SMTP namespace you can use. So this email integration you need to do. SMS integration, you can I used SMS Horizon. They have many, there are many third party vendors. but if you know one, usually what they do SMS integration, they provide a web API or ST API, or maybe they provide SMAX, or maybe SOAP based API. So you need to call their API, and if you pass the parameter, if you know call their methods, it will send the SMS. So they will provide the API to call the API from your program. Search optimization, you can say this is, you should know the search engine optimization, because SEO part, usually company will have the different guy who will do the optimization, but if you are alone, if you are a more experienced guy, you should know how to do that. Let's take one example in search optimization, where in project, after project completion, you should know, your responsibility to put site map .xml file available, robo.txt file should be available, and your site or your Google Analytic code should be available, and whatever images, your anchor tab, and their title and their wording and everything, and your file name and URL should be very user friendly, so people can remember that one, and user friendly for human, user friendly for machines, user friendly for a search engine. So data optimization come under search optimization. So Google, maybe there is a requirement where you need to integrate the AdSense. This maybe why taking AdSense very popular. You have so many kind of so many alternative, so many you have vendors. If you type AdSense alternative, AdSense alternative, AdSense is a Google product. Sorry. You have you can see here ad for BitAdvisor, pop-up ad, media.net. You have many kind of alternative, not only the AdSense. So but you should know how to integrate the advertisement and monetize your website. Google Map integration, you should know how to place the map, how to get a API key, API secret, and you need to place in your map, so maps should work on production environment. Analytic, I told you Google Analytic is the best one. We like to live monitoring of your site, and see the customer journey, how customer coming to your site, and it will show how many people are live, how demographic report and everything. They give one analytic code, or there will be one kind of a small script, JavaScript, and you need to place that code into your page, your every page or your master page. So that will be integrated with Google, the Google dashboard. In Google analytic.google.com, if you go there, you can see your site. So database tuning, uh, database performance tuning, I call. You need to tune the query, you need to use store procedures. There is many things. You can use SQL Server advisor, tuning advisor, you can use profiler, you can use tune the query, so performance should be up to level. Code optimization, of course you need to do code optimization. Sometimes we write code that we can optimize, we can, if you there is a 50 kind of function is there in your libraries, in your code, so maybe you can reduce to as much as less should be there, so lot more optimization you can do. Social integration I treat as a kind of login with Facebook, login with Google, login with other social networking site, and if you click on share it button, then it should share the content to other social networking like Twitter and all. So that's the integration in it too is very important. Nowadays WhatsApp integration also come in the picture, so that you should know how to integrate that one. Every site will have their own custom things to integrate. There will be OAuth, authentication and authorization. sorry, OAuth is for authorization and OpenID for authentication. So Open Connect will be a technology for kind of authentication authorization. So they how they authorize the content. That's the technology behind that. Deployment and packaging should know how to deploy your project. Web development, web project you can deploy through web deployer, web deployment package you can create, FTP, file system, Azure services, whatever is comfortable you can deploy that your project. So ID tool you should know. I'm not saying you should be a master of all the IDs, but Photoshop you should know. Like creating a small images, cropping the images, making kind of make little bit good. So Photoshop, don't try to be a master, but if you are not a front-end developer, you are a ASP.NET full stack developer, so you should know a little bit about Photoshop. Dreamweaver, if you are not using a Bootstrap and all, then Dreamweaver. Did I discuss about Bootstrap in front end? Yeah, Bootstrap. If you are not using a Bootstrap, even if you are using a Bootstrap, if you want to tune your kind of front end little bit good and want to give a different design for that, then Dreamweaver will be very good. There is a lot of the time we don't use Bootstrap, so on that time we have to design your own custom template. Sometimes company don't prefer to use outside template, so you have to tune your template. On that time it's very hard to code everything, so Dreamweaver will be kind of perfect things for your front end design. Microsoft Visual Studio you need it, but why you need Visio you need in a analysis, because if you are doing a project, you need to lot of the time you need to prepare the flowchart. The flowchart, one option is there, you can prepare in Microsoft PowerPoint or Word, but it's a recommended way to prepare the flowchart in Microsoft Visio, and they have all the controls. Telerik Fiddler, of course you need if you are developing web API, you need to test and tune that API, so Fiddler will be the perfect IDE. You can use other IDE, other alternative also there, Postman, like that. SSMS, that is SQL Server Management Studio, to write your SQL query and everything. There is a MCST certification. Not saying you should have, but if you can do that, then your will be added advantage will be there, like you can get the promotions, you can get you can place that certified logo to your resume will be stand out. So this 3 papers what I figured out, you can do programming with C#. You can, after that there is 3 papers you need to do, and each paper will cost around 10,000 rupees. So if you have plan it, do it, otherwise leave it. You showcase your talent like that only. So this is the full stack developer skills should have. If I'm missing anything, you can comment to my video comment box, so I'll include here. This is the core ASP.NET developer skills you should have. Why I have not included WinForm and WPF? Behind that region, this is the web development profile. So here I mentioned a full stack developer here in a web development side. If you ask him a full stack developer in a it include the WinForm and WPF applications and console applications also, but that will be what I seen in professional life. If they are hiring for desktop developer, not a web developer, they will have different kind of skill set. They will have language, they will know WinForm, they will know class libraries, they have